to the people that you want to ask questions to once you take an action. I say this often. It's like, if you go make like 10 offers in that month, your questions and the way you think are going to change. I guarantee. And so like, don't come at me with all these theory questions when you haven't done shit. You haven't actually gone out there and put in any real work. And now you're just trying to get fast cheat codes to like not doing any work. Like you're competing with people like me that are like passionate, that have teams that are all in. And then how are you going to get deals when you're up against a stiff competition? You're just not.
All right, let's get it. This is actually called the Real Estate Podcast. I'm here with Alex, my partner, and Alex Camacho. Appreciate you coming on, man. It means a lot, and we're excited to hear a little bit about your background and see how we can provide entrepreneurs with some value. If you don't mind, if you could just jump right in, dude. We'd love to hear kind of how you got started and what you got going on, and we'll just pepper you with some questions.
Yeah, for sure, guys. So thanks for having me on, number one. I know you guys are providing value to some entrepreneurs, some investors, and I love stuff like that because we're trying to do that, right? Make this industry bigger and better as far as invest. So thank you for having me on. So I'm currently a full-time real estate investor, predominantly fix and flip deals. I have a company in Southern California where we're currently working on 8 deals. Well, actually, one is in Maui because I physically live on Maui in Hawaii. I moved there like summertime, middle of the pandemic last year. And so I have a team in LA and we're predominantly doing fix and flip, but so then that way we can make enough money to buy some rentals. I got my start a little bit older. People think I'm a little bit younger. I just turned 40. But when I was in my early 20s, I was in the mortgage business before the mortgage crisis. I went into banking before that. So I started with banking. Then I got into the mortgage business because it was a great opportunity at that time. Made some great money, but didn't have a lot of I would say mentors. I was in a toxic relationship. Didn't really have good habits. And so I just ended up losing it all from having a couple houses in a business and all that when the market crashed. So really was humbling experience there, right? Having a lot, kind of growing up from humble beginnings. I'm a Mexican American. My parents are both, born in Mexico. I was born in San Diego. And so, I just kind of took a hard fall there and then just got back up. I knew that I could come back up. I just didn't know how. I just kept on trying different things. I became a property manager and then I became a realtor. And that's where I kind of found like, hey, this is like a great gig. I like this. I think this fits my skill sets better than the mortgage business. And so basically went into that, but that's where I got the investing bug more than anything. That was around 2012, 2014, 15. I saw the flippers in LA making like $100,000 a deal. Granted, it was really hard to get money at that time because the bank said, kind of the financial crisis, right? And then it just kind of put a seed in my mind that, I think I have enough experience. These guys don't look like the smartest people in the world. Like, I think I can flip houses too. If I flip a house a month, I can make $1 million. It just was pretty simple math, and then seeing people do that, and me working for months as an agent, doing short sales, and then 8-9 months negotiating that, and then they go and make the real money. That's kind of where that came from. And then 3 years later is when I really took it serious. I did some Airbnb arbitrage there in Hollywood, in California, and I did some other, kind of cut back a little bit into the mortgage lending business, but on the wholesale side. But I always had that thought, like I could be a great flipper, great investor. So I started working for somebody in 2017. He was doing basically what I wanted to do, flipping 20, 30 houses a year. And I went to go work for him as an inside sales agent, got him about a little more than a dozen deals, learned a lot, but didn't make very much. I was literally making like $2,500 a deal, and he's making like $100,000 spreads. But I learned a lot, right? And then I got recruited by a bigger company, and that bigger company was doing volume, like 150 deals plus in Southern California. And they were a cash buyer, kind of almost like in between a real, like an investor and a hedge fund, kind of like a really integrated, 40-person squad with just processes and a lot of capital, some banking, some private, just a whole operation. So I learned a lot. I got from like 54 houses in a year and a half, just busting my ass. And then after that, I saved enough money. And then, that was about 2 years ago. I started my own company 2 years ago. And then now we were doing about one deal a month in Southern California. Last year, I decided to move to Hawaii, get a little closer to my mentor, Brandon Turner, and he's one of my main mentors. And then that's it. That's pretty much where I'm at now, living in Hawaii. Just starting to scale up. I get to travel a lot. I'm in Mexico right now, and just lifestyle design is very important to me. I don't want to be stuck to one physical location. And so, that's kind of where we're at, man.
I love it. There's a lot going on, fast paced. What gets you to Mexico? Are you flipping houses down there? Like, how does that all work out?
Well, part of the lifestyle design is that since my mom is from this part of Mexico, I like coming down here because I get to see a lot of my extended family that I don't get to see that often. And I've come down here 4 times in the last year and a half. And every time I come, I stay for a longer period of time. And then I have 4 virtual assistants. 4 of my virtual assistants. Hey,
that's a hot deal, man. You got to get it.
No, what is my project manager in Maui? But it's the time difference is interesting. Like there is 6 hours behind where I'm at in Mexico right now. So my work day varies based on where I'm at in the world. Yeah, what was I saying? Sorry.
No, you're good. You're talking about like the kind of lifestyle by design, being in Mexico.
Yeah. So I purposely hired some virtual assistants down here, and I come down here, spend some time with them, do a little training, and take them around town. Just build a kind of a culture where they people don't want to leave, right? And then I get to enjoy town, and then frankly, like I'm single, so like it's really cool. You can get a lot. The prices of like actually going out and doing things right here, it's a great ROI as far as how much money you spend compared to what I'm spending in Hawaii and in LA. So just a little bit of everything. That's why I'm down here right now for like about a week and a half maybe.
Cool, man. So what you dove in and you're doing all these flips. Like I'm curious on the operation side, you just got like one really good lender you work with. Like what would you recommend for people to get to that point where you have, a flip a month? What was that banking situation like for you?
Yeah, so I highly recommend people do joint venture partnerships. To partner with people at the beginning. Sometimes it's hard to get that hard money loan, even though you might have a pretty good deal. It's hard to get that funding as a first-time investor, first-time flipper. I mean, you could own a property, but if you haven't done a flip, what I recommend is either doing that model where you kind of find a deal. That's what I did. Even though I was working for those companies, I wasn't on title of these properties. So I didn't actually get the credit of saying, hey, even though I got them basically 65 deals, like none of them were in my name. Even though, the paperwork, I mean, I had a contract with them and everything as far as my role, it still didn't give the hard money lender, that kind of, that meet their criteria for giving me a hard money loan to flip houses on my own. Even though during that time I did save some money and I was prepared. So what I recommend is either doing a joint venture, kind of splitting the deal somehow with somebody that does have experience, can get that hard money loan, or wholesaling to have a little bit more, and then maybe they just ask you for a larger down payment because you're a little bit newer investor. But hard money, what is interesting about hard money, I tell new people, is that there's no real recourse. And what I mean by that is like they could like back out at the 5-yard line, right? Like literally the 11th hour. And then you'd be, having to scramble and close on that deal or lose your, earnest deposit. So you got to be real careful on who you work with on that side, because it could totally screw up a deal. And I've actually lost deals or been in very tough situations because of that exact scenario.
Yeah, man. It's I hate to say it sometimes, but I really believe in it. Never trust a lender. Even guys that I really like, it's not always their fault. But things happen, and just it happens all the time. Like even with us, with community bank, with permanent financing, with hard money. Luckily, right now we have a hard money lender here in Austin called HouseMax that's literally never let us down, and it becomes easy once you have all your paperwork with them. It's just like, all right, on to the next.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's true. Like even them, like something might change within their business, and they can't lend us the money, and it is what it is.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a couple of things I'd like to add to that is great points is that, lenders have certain appetites for certain areas. So they might love lending in certain geographic areas where you're at, and then you get a deal somewhere a little bit outside of that. They don't really want that deal as much, and it's gonna be harder for them to potentially sell off or do what they do with it. And so they just, they'll give you really outrageous terms on that. And then also the hard money lender relationship I have, it's kind of with a bigger company now, but I started with that 1 or 2 deals with them, kind of trusting like, hey, I kind of want a bigger funding source that's not just a broker, because I was going traditionally just to a broker that was solid. She came through. She's still somebody that I go to like my B option, but that A option now is that lender giving me better terms and their actual service is there. and then I know the main person on top, the CEO. So I get to spend some time with him, and I've developed that relationship. Spend some time going to masterminds and things like that to like just foster those really high level relationships that you're going to need to scale up to do more volume. And you can't work on those right away because you don't have as much of a track record. But that's the bigger picture is for this people that maybe are a little bit newer, that you have to have the bigger picture in mind and operate from that place. At all times, I think. Well, not at all times, but enough to see the big picture. Yeah.
You got to work towards the big picture. All the little steps towards it.
Yes, sir.
So y'all are flipping about a house a month in LA?
Well, we have 8, so I'd say a little more than a house a month right now. We were like around 1 or 2 a month last year, but now we're projected to work on somewhere around 25 deals. Our goal really would be 30 and eventually get that to 50.
All right. Congrats, man. So with the 25, 30 deals that y'all are working on right now, especially with you living in Hawaii and, going to Mexico and living the lifestyle, how, I'm curious kind of how you're overseeing the entire operation there. Do you have any partners, or is it staff that you've hired and kind of a, operations manager to see the day to day?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I could maybe talk a little bit about my team, because I think I have a bit of a unique business model that I've developed through a hybrid of mentorship and coaching people and or bringing people on, and social media and all that kind of combined has helped attract, and then I've also worked very hard on designing the life myself that I want. I went to this mastermind where you talked about like, okay, you have your life in one hand and then your business in the other hand. Make sure that you're trying to put your business in your life, not your life in your business. Because what happens is like then you're unhappy. You may be making a lot of money, but then you don't have the lifestyle that you want, and it's hard to kind of unwind that. So I think I kind of purposely did that once I got a little closer with Brandon, and I saw him kind of do it in a different way. But when he made me an offer to come and go live in Hawaii and remote flip in LA, I considered it. For a couple of reasons, because a lot of times I don't go to the house. I've done enough deals now where I don't necessarily have to go to the house. We're not building ground up construction. Back to the question. So I have have you familiar with that book, Traction?
Yeah, we run our business off Traction.
All right, great to hear. Well, I run a level 10 meeting every Monday with the whole staff. I have a COO, which is like my integrator, but most other people call COO. I'm the visionary. I'm the one working on the big relationships. I'm the one working on the capital. I'm the one working on the big problems for the business. Also working on training, specific things that no one else can train on, people, onboarding people. So I kind of work on that. And then my right-hand man, Will, in LA, pretty much, is head of acquisitions and also kind of head of the company there. And then we have about 3, excuse me a second. Real quick.
Got a deal coming in, everybody.
Someone's door knocking.
Someone's door
Just
knocking.
open the door. But yeah, so I have that, my right hand man, Will, and then we have 3, I would say kind of junior acquisitions, people that are, almost full time, but maybe they have their, full time gig. I've made a lot of progress working with people that are already on solid ground and have a deep desire to be in real estate and don't necessarily need a paycheck. Right? They're just like, oh man, like they got maybe one property, one rental or something. They're just like, I just working with you, Alex. I think I'm just gonna get to where I want to get to faster, right? And so like, and I'm helping train them because I've seen, so much in these like 4.5 years. So then we have those, and then I have a business model of project management per fee. So like, because the geographic area that we're a little covering of Southern California is pretty large, I don't like to have a project manager like on payroll, making 50, 60 grand and whatever that is. I'd rather have paid per project like $2,500. It's generally the case with a bonus, just for them to manage the subcontractor, because we rarely get GCs. We just manage subcontractors. And then we're mainly doing cosmetic entry level flips. So it's not like we're having to do a bunch of permitting and a bunch of extra stuff with architecture and planning and city involvement. So the majority of the stuff we're doing is like we're in and out in 4 to 5 months, and then we're just kind of moving in that pace. So that's kind of like the way the team is set up. And then Hawaii is very similar. I have an acquisitions manager. They're both of my acquisitions managers are basically commission only. Like they get paid on what they kill, right? They get they eat what they kill, and that model has worked for me because those people again usually they're either on solid ground, have some money saved, have some resources, have a lot of bandwidth because of their full-time job not being that that taxing. So then they're able to kind of work that 30, 40 hours a week in addition to where they're already working on to get help out. And then Yeah, so that's kind of the business model that I'm running, which is I think a little bit unique, and then allows everybody to kind of be on the same page. I don't have a, I mean, my overhead is really really low. It's less than 100 grand a year for like pretty much my whole life and business. So like I run pretty lean. And remember that I said with the story before, like I lost it all, and for that reason is I had high overhead and I didn't have I had a lot of fixed expenses, and so now I'm a bit overhead averse, you would say.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So what had you coming to San Antonio and Austin? You trying to drum up some new markets, or what's the goal there?
Well, with the flipping company being the developing and whatnot, what we're trying to do now is trying to park those profits in something that's a little bit more passive. I don't want to flip houses forever. So, Southern California and Hawaii are not really rental markets per se. You can get it done. I mean, there is deals, but I just see that there's other opportunities with that. And so those have come up a lot: San Antonio, Phoenix, and South Florida. So I went all three and pretty much just went with an open mind to see what I could learn. Fortunately, because I built up, pretty good, kind of brand, I guess you'd say, people are willing to meet with me and show me around. And I feel like I learned a lot more than what the average person would learn in a 4 or 5 day period of time. I probably, learned what takes people like, years or, a significant amount of time. So I'm just grateful for that. And right now, I think San Antonio is a great market for single family rentals that could be at short-term rentals near the downtown area. And then I'm really bullish now on investing whatever I can into multifamily in Phoenix. That state's gonna fucking blow up. I mean, it's a young state. I mean, I see why everybody's moving there. So I'm bullish on that market now too.
That's cool, man. We love it.
And South Florida is just for fun, fellas. I'm not really trying to invest in South Florida that much because honestly, I just didn't see as much opportunity. It looked like another shark fight, like SoCal. So I'm like, if I'm going to shark it out, I might as well just do it in SoCal then. But yeah, I think San Antonio and Phoenix, that's what my insight told me after those days there.
That's cool. I like it. What are, in spirits of helping other people, like what are some of the things that you struggled with along your career to get where you're at? That maybe you could use to help somebody like that, they just can't, for whatever reason, see how they're going to get past that next step. Were there things like that you felt in the dark and lost and you figured it out?
Yeah, I'd say a couple things. One, I would say mindset, like just having a strong mindset, working on it, reading the right books, getting around those people that inspire you, because like that's just so strong to like have a strong mindset. For me, I don't really have that much of a problem with it. I've had, some success in my life, so then I feel like I can kind of get back up and kind of overcome obstacles. But some people don't think that way. So I think I would recommend there just having that deep belief, like, and that might take some time for you to really truly believe that you could do something. But for me, I think about it. I waited 3-4 years, even having had some success in the other areas of real estate, to go start doing investing, working for an investor or whatnot. So I just encourage people to take action, have a strong mindset. I'd say another thing would just like having positive habits. Like I have a morning routine, evening routine. They're not perfect. I don't do them every single day, but I found that, that having a solid base, in the mornings, in the evening and whatnot, just having control of your priorities and knowing like what's like going to move the needle forward, just having a solid schedule is super, super important. I struggle with that. So I think people, you need to get your schedule on point. And I have this Sunday ritual that I schedule out at the minimum Monday and Tuesday, and hopefully more of Sunday. And I schedule a lot of fun stuff first, and then I start scheduling the stuff that's money-making activities, because I found that like if you don't have enough to like, you don't fill your cup, you don't feel your energy, you don't feel your soul up, then it's harder for you to pour into others and put in that extra work that you need to have success in this business. So I'd say those are probably mindset, schedule. And then the networking is important, but I just want people to network based on the fact that they're taking action, not just meet somebody, because then you're not bringing shit to the table. Again, excuse my language, but it's just, you're not. So it's like, you're just taking, yet you haven't really taken action. And your questions always change to the people that you want to ask questions to once you take an action. I say this often. It's like, if you go make like 10 offers in that month, your questions and the way you think are going to change. I guarantee. And so like, don't come at me with all these theory questions when you haven't done shit. You haven't actually gone out there and put in any real work. And now you're just trying to get fast cheat codes to like not doing any work. Like you're competing with people like me that are like passionate, that have teams that are all in. And then how are you going to get deals when you're up against a stiff competition? You're just not. So like I think those are probably the top 3: network, mindset, and then the schedule.
Preach it, man. Yeah, we we have a real estate brokerage. We have close to 100 agents on our team, and we deal with all kinds of different people. Like we're big on everyone's welcome, and we're supporting people being entrepreneurial and making money on every aspect of real estate. And so we see a lot of that, and I try to help people. Like I'm big on putting my time out there and guiding and adding value in any way I can. The worst thing is when someone's doing it and they're just talking about it and not doing anything, because then they're just wasting both people's times.
Yeah, and that's why I reward people that are proven action takers, because the thing is that I've seen that there's no guarantee that you're going to take action if I give you my time, which obviously is valuable. Everybody's time is valuable, and then there's no guarantee you're going to take any action. So like, why would I give you some of my time, and then there's no real guarantee that you're going to go out there and use it. And so like I reward people that send me a message on Instagram. They're like, oh man, I took I have this duplex, I did this, but I'm trying to figure this out. All right, cool, man, let's get on the call. I'll give you 5-10 minutes of my time, because you've already taken action. But like if someone just like, hey, I've been thinking about investing and put this, put that, and that, I'm probably less likely to jump on the call with you, because you're just like stuck in your head.
Hey, Alex, I want to mastermind. Can we get on a call? That's like, come on.
I would love to get on a call with you. Who are you? Like, what have you done? Like, what do you? So, anyways, yeah, dude, that's kind of like the way I look at it.
And I heard somebody on like Instagram or something was like, no, I don't want people to pick my brain. That sounds horrible. And I was like, it's kind of true. Like, don't tell someone you want to pick their brain. Like, go out there and say, how can I help you? And have a real deal and a real scenario. And then someone like you be like, all right, great. Like, I remember being here. I actually have some valuable information I can share, versus just throwing your time out there, and yeah, it's a real problem. Like,
it's either two things I recommend. Number one, you have to do an inventory check of yourself. I'm like, oh, I bring this to the table. I have discounts at Home Depot. I have really good skills in Excel. Like, you're doing an inventory, and now when we talk to this person, you're like, hey, I'm good at this. I'm good at that. I'm good at that. Is any of that fit into your business? Because if you ask me how you could help me, I don't know that much about you. So how am I going to be able to? You're making it a job for me, like, to figure out how you can help me. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that. Take that job, because I don't have the time. But if you do the job and say, hey, I'm good at this and that, okay, great. I can that's something for me to go off of and help you. Also, when it comes to like, people asking to pick your brain and stuff like that, you just need to ask me a very fucking specific question, and I'm going to answer it, because it's based again off of action that you've taken, and you're like, oh, I came across this roadblock, or I did this. Then people are more willing to answer questions if it's very specific based on something you're actually already doing.
Yep. 100%, man. I love it. I appreciate it. Someone needs to say it. Well, cool. Any before we get out of here, kind of last minute advice to entrepreneurs, or ways that we or listeners can plug in? Like, are there certain things you're looking for in Austin that we can help out with, or you're trying to grow your channels? Like, what ways on a high level should people be thinking about reaching out to you to help? I know you said, it's a job for you to think what someone's skills are, but there's certain needs that you would have that I'm sure we potentially could help our listeners. So advice, and then things that we can help out with.
Okay, so start with the advice. I think we did a good job on that. Like, last question, we're just like the mindset, the schedule, the network. And what other advice would I have? Is just don't be afraid to pay a mentor or pay for coaching under the right context if you've already taken enough action and you need to get to that next level, because it's an ego thing. Because you're either going to pay, it's true, you're either going to pay with your time or you're going to pay with money, one or the other. And just pick people that you resonate with, that you kind of want to be like. My mentors are Brandon Turner and Ryan Pineda, among others, but those two are solid people. I've seen them, the way they treat people, the way they run the business, what they do, what they accomplish, the impact they're making. And I'm trying to do that in my own way. So what does that mean? That means that, like, I have to emulate as much as possible what they do. But, again, coming from the place that I'm not losing my individuality or the way I want to do things. So I would say that. And then just as far as reaching out to me, like, I'm always looking for lenders and deals. I mean, money and deals is pretty much as investors, right? We're always looking for those two things. So if they have deals in Southern California, or have people, or something comes up down there, or in, anywhere in Hawaii, particularly Maui, but like, I have access and resources and people all over the islands. Reach out to me there on my Instagram. That's probably the easiest way to reach out to me. I loved Austin, by the way. I see why everybody's going out there. I can see myself, living there or staying some time. It's an electrifying, just vibrant city with a lot to do. As far as investing wise, though, I don't see myself investing in that market, other than maybe getting a dope place around by Domain, or a dope place right by, Rainy Street, myself, just for me to hang out, and have a good time. Yeah, just reach out to me if you guys have anything, questions about that. But like, take that advice of ask very specific questions, and, reach out if you have something already that you think that, my business and my lifestyle can align with you, because I'm always trying to help people to get started, or just move along on their path, any way I can.
Yeah, man. We call Austin Opportunity City. And yeah, it is a bit trickier to invest here, but it's a great place.
Awesome.
Well, thanks, man. Alex, you got any last minute questions?
No, it was great. I think the last point that we made on routines and then mindset and also the networking thing that really resonated with Matt. He's our networker, and that's all he does. So I know he felt that one to his bones. So I think that was all great, and we really appreciate your time.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much.
All right, fellas. Well, hey, keep rocking out and keep putting in good work like that. Let me know if you guys need anything. See you guys around.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.